Yes, we are. I think we're on. I think we're on. I don't know. Maybe we're on. Yes, we are on. And Sarah's here. Sarah, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
Sarah's here. She's in the room with me, guys. She's looking just off screen and she's looking at the beautiful screen we've got. Right, I've just realised I've not got my cyberpunk light on. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I don't even know what's happening. We have just decided to take our things to the next step. We've got our bug out car and we've got it getting ready for its MOT right now. So we're going to have that on the road. I may even do a video with our little bug out car for you guys to see. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got more calamity in the United Kingdom. We have got riots all over. We've got riots in mainland UK. We've got riots in Northern Ireland. More riots planned for tomorrow. Is it me or did somebody say that there was going to be a global event on Friday the 13th? Friday the 13th happened and Israel strikes Iran. Guys, listen, be under no illusion. This conflict in the Middle East is going to drag the United States. It's going to drag everyone into a global conflict of industrial scale. But you guys will know that if you've been watching this channel. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We are double streaming now. We are back to double streaming. So we are double streaming on whatever, on TikTok, on YouTube. And at some point we will be double streaming, triple streaming. We'll be triple streaming. Un, dos, tres. What else is there? Odin, dva. What is it? Three. Wahed, Klafit, man, if you speak Arabic. I don't know, guys. Listen, it's all going off. We're going to be talking about that now. Guys, listen, I've just realized that light there needs to be turned on. So can you guys just bear with me for like 30 seconds or something while I go and turn these lights on, all right? And Sarah's in the background, so Sarah's going to say something. She's laughing now. She's saying, no, don't make me say something. But Sarah, tell them, read some comments, Sarah, read some comments.
Iran just showed the ballistic missiles and stop using drones. That's on Google. It was on the radio that Iran have fired back. That's some deep cavalry thing. Israel aren't playing, they just put their cards on the table.
Right, okay, ladies and gentlemen, so remember when we said Friday the 13th? I'm going to jump and get this up, guys, because literally, okay, I am a little bit late this morning. A couple of comments on YouTube. JS Adventures is saying, I remember you saying Israel always strike on a Friday, so been watching for it all day. I just knew it was going to be today. Guys, look, if you want to know what's going to be happening in the future, make sure you like and comment and subscribe. Make sure you like and comment and subscribe, and all those things that help this channel grow, ladies and gentlemen. Because we don't lie. We don't lie to
everybody.
We don't lie to you here about what's happening now. We tell you the truth about what's happening in the future. So already, guys, the summer of carnage, we know it's here. We know it's coming. We're looking at the winter of doom. And I'm going to tell you, if we've got time today, I'm going to tell you guys how that's going to descend, ascend, develop, what that's going to develop into mainland United Kingdom. But guys, hot news of the day is Israel, Iran. It doesn't look like that war started. They've struck back. The United States are going to come to the aid of Israel. And then we have all sorts of red heifer, third temple, biblical prophecies coming true all the time. It's Friday the 13th, guys. We know why things happen on a Friday, because somebody somewhere just made an absolute ton of money. Somebody just made a ton of money right there then, guys. Right, so let me get the headlines up. We are going to be focusing about Israel and Iran. So let me just get this up. Like I said, guys, I am a little bit late. Well, I'm not. Am I late? Do you know what? I'm not late. I was early. There's me thinking I was late, but I was actually a couple of minutes early. So just to contextualize this, guys, we've got our bug out car. We've got that out of the garage now. It's having its MOT. We're going to make sure that's on the road, and we're going to make sure that's fully fueled. What I always say about this conflict with Israel and Iran, if you live in the United Kingdom, fuel prices, guys, okay? Fuel prices are already at an all-time high. The last time this happened, the fuel prices paradoxically didn't rise. So, and again, I don't know why that was. I genuinely don't know why that was. They should have risen. Hey, listen, I'm a fully qualified English gentleman. It's my birthright to make up words. So riz is now a word. I don't know what it's going to be used for, but right, let me just get this breaking news, guys, because Israel and Iran does look like those two are having a good old scrap. Right, where are we?
How will it affect us though, Sean, in the UK with this? What's happening?
What, Sarah? What? Say again.
With Iran, how is it going to affect us?
Okay, right. So with Iran, guys, we've got to look at the situation holistically. people in the United Kingdom, David Lammy, the Foreign Office, all the governmental agencies are all being very critical of Israel and the government of Israel and how they sanctioned people the other day. So on the streets of the United Kingdom, normally you would expect to see lots of protests, lots of people out doing that, by the US Embassy. That sort of stuff in the United Kingdom will be minimized now because the United Kingdom, the government of the United Kingdom are giving the optics that they are against all this. Now, they're obviously not because the US military will still be able to use RAF Akatere. RAF Akatere is on the south coast, it's like a southern peninsula of Cyprus. So that's the litmus test, guys. Go and watch the aircraft that are flying in and out of there. The main thing that's going to affect everyone in the United Kingdom, guys, is what I believe is the fuel price. Remember, between 5 and 20% of the world's crude oil, transits through the Strait of Hormuz. Now, again, I know what a lot of people say, right, they can't close the Strait of Hormuz. Trust me, guys, all right? Trust me. The Houthis, with no navy, managed to close off the Red Sea and stop shipping and literally dictate who can travel through up to the Suez Canal. So I would speculate that Iran, with a navy, with missiles, with drones, can pretty much stop anyone transiting through there. I am trying to find out now, guys, if Kargigi Island has been struck. I don't know if it's been struck or not, but if Kargigi Island's been struck, so for those of you guys who don't know, Kargigi Island is on the south coast of Iran. It's very weird because the south coast of Iran is like, it's at an angle. So I'm going to say the southwest coast of Iran, but there isn't a southwest coast of Iran. There's just the south coast. But guys, listen, it is what it is. It's probably about 30 to 40 miles off the coast of Iran. That's where they do all the oil processing, all the gas oil separation. So when you get crude oil, it has to be fractionally distillized. That fractional distillation happens on it. It's either Karg Island, it's K, depending on what maps you look at, guys. When I first went out there in 2003, the maps that we got given were old RAF air maps, and they were terrible, and it was spelled differently. It's now spelled differently on Google Maps than it is to some other maps, and depending on what language you speak, it's Karg Island, Kark Island, Kargigi Island, depending on what maps you're looking at, guys. That's what it's called. If that island is struck, the oil prices are going to jump. So let me jump on this, guys. I'm looking at the mainstream now. I'm not late, but I am on a back foot because I wanted to get on here on time. Right, what we know so far. So what do we know so far? Israel launched a strike on Iran. What do we know so far? Israel launched strikes on Iran, dozens of targets inside Iran, including nuclear sites. What happened overnight?
Are these civilian buildings, Sean?
I don't know. We're looking at it now, guys. I don't know. I'm reading this with you guys. All I've seen is literally the headlines. We're looking at this together. I'm reading headlines, and I'm telling you guys, I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to give you guys my real-time analysis. I'm going to read the mainstream. I'm going to go on to open source social media. I'm going to tell you what I think we can, what we can surmise from that. But looking at it now, guys, it doesn't look like Kargigi Island, or I'm just going to call it Kargigi Island, guys, all right? Because that's what I first knew it as, Kargigi Island. What happened overnight? Israel launched a widespread attack on Iran, aimed at targets including its nuclear facilities, military commanders, scientists, claiming it took unilateral... Right, I'm going to come on to that in a minute, guys, because I don't think it did take... Iran took unilateral... sorry, let me continue. Commanded scientists claim it took unilateral action because Tehran had begun to build nuclear warheads. Israel said 200 Israeli, not a chance, guys, not a chance. I can tell you now, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you now, right, that the Israeli, look, guys, okay, I'm speculating. This is from my own knowledge. You won't find this anywhere else. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and do all those things, guys.
Tap the screen.
Keep tapping the screen. Yeah, right. So they're saying here, and I'm just reading this off the mainstream, guys. They're saying that the 200 Israeli fighter jets participated in the operation, striking 100 targets. I'm almost 100% sure. I've got a high likelihood of certainty that the Israelis don't have the air-to-air refueling capacity to service 200 aircraft. Guys, look, you've got to understand this airstrike. It's a long way from Israel to Iran. It's a long way. Now, people think you can just get in a fighter jet and go wherever you want. You can, as long as you've got fuel going through as long as you've got fuel to burn. Now, 200 Israeli fighter jets, that is a lot, guys, all right? So they will need one refuel on the way there, one refuel on the way back. I'm pretty sure that's what they're going to need. Now, if they're loitering and they're having to run around and, because counter to popular belief, when you do an airstrike and you're going over to this airstrike, you don't just go, whee, that's it, it's done, and come back. You have to fly around, you have to identify the target, you have to make sure everything's right. Then you drop your payload, you confirm your payload, and then you come back. That's how it works, guys, all right? Now, the Israelis don't have the air-to-air refueling capacity. I don't think the Israelis have the air-to-air refueling capacity to service 200 fighters. Do you know who does? Do you know who does and who's in that region? I'll give you three guesses, guys, but you'll only need one. Yeah, so the United States are in that region. They've got lots of assets in that region, not least via RAF Akateria, that's a British airbase. So what I would speculate, guys, now this is my own opinion now of how this operation happened. And I've just got that number there, 200 Israeli fighter jets. I'm pretty sure that the Israelis don't have the capacity. So you guys understand what I'm talking about there, don't you?
They said it were going to happen today, Sean.
Yeah, guys, listen, I literally go back on my TikTok. I did a video and I said Friday the 13th warning. So there we go, guys, okay? I'm going to speculate that the United States did... Right, guys, I'm not going to speculate.
We're on live tonight, aren't you?
We're going to be on live tonight, guys, as this fog is going to... the fog's going to clear. We're going to have a better understanding of what is happening. So... 200, what was I going to say then? Yeah, 200 Israeli aircraft, guys. Again, the logistics, it's everybody wants to look at, and again, listen, guys, I was always teeth arms. I was always like out there doing the fighting stuff when I was in the military. The logistics dictate. So I'm pretty sure that the Israelis don't have the air-to-air refueling capacity to service a 200 aircraft fighter jet operation. And isn't that a lot of fighter jets for Israel? But look, there we are, guys. That is what's happening. Right. What sites were hit? Iran's main nuclear enrichment facility at Natanz was also hit. According to the International Atomic Energy Agency, it's unclear how much damage was done, but video posted online appears to show the aftermath of massive explosions. Natanz, partially above ground. Now that's key, guys. I'm going to come on to that in a second. Partially above ground with multiple holes, centrifuges, spinning uranium gas for its nuclear program. Right. So listen, guys, back in 2000 and when was it? 2003, right? Let's cast our minds back now to 2003. The invasion of Iraq. Before the coalition went into Iraq, I think it was 5 days of constant aerial bombardment of Iraq. Literally. Anything with an antenna that was transmitting got something dropped on it. Anything that looked like a tank, anything that looked like air defenses, it all got it was just absolute carnage, guys. Like the Iraqis did not stand a chance to that aerial bombardment. So I would speculate that the Iranians would have watched this and thought, right, okay, we cannot defend against that. We can't, and nobody can. So what I would speculate is the Iranians put anything of any sort, anything of any value, deep underground. Now, not only will they put it deep underground, but they will put that deep underground and underneath a mountain. So doesn't matter how big your air force is, you're kind of not going to take out any of those mountains. A lot of these mountains are in the north of Iran, where it's a lot harder to get those aircraft to because you have to go through more air defenses. But guys, listen, I don't think this is the end of this. I do think that a lot of the Iranian nuclear capacity will be deep underground. It makes sense for that. Why would you have it there in the open? That is an obvious striking point. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, I've talked about this so many times. In November, the 1st of November 2023, the United States passed House Resolution 559, which says something like
along your predictions a minute, Sean.
We're not going to let the Iranians get a nuclear missile, but guys, we're going to be talking about all this and how it's going to affect you guys. But first,
please follow if you want to.
Make sure you follow if you're watching, guys, because that's how this channel grows. I'm going to come to the comments because there are loads of comments going crackers, guys, all right? I'm literally new to a lot of this news, as you guys are. Right, let me jump up and get these comments. We are double streaming again today, guys. We are on TikTok. We are on, what are we on? We're on TikTok and YouTube. We are on TikTok and YouTube right now. We are double streaming. So this video will be uploaded to YouTube as well. Sharon, Daniel Payne, user and a load of numbers. Andrew Royds, hello Andrew Royds. Musaka, thank you for following. Lulswell saying hi. Lord of Chaos is just joined. Daniel Payne is saying the world has gone mad. Yes, it is. Google it. Did you see?
They were driving, listen to the song. It's the end of the world. I could feel it, Daniel.
Daniel says, did you see my text this morning? No, I didn't Google it. I didn't see them. I literally this morning I had to get up and out. We have literally this morning, guys. This morning we've got a bug out car. We're getting that back on the road. It's just a precaution for us. It's nothing like a massive off-road thing. It's just it's the smallest car we could get. Me, Sarah, the kids, and enough fuel to get us anywhere in the United Kingdom and have 15% left over. Gene Prothero saying good morning. Tyler Evans, hi Sean. Good morning, Debbie1973. Guys, let's keep sharing the live and get this out there because it's going bonkers. The summer of carnage, World War III, Israel, Iran, they're going to strike back. The United States are going to protect Israel. It's all going bonkers. Does it feel? Remember when I gave that prediction, guys, of the United States going into Iran March 2026, and everybody was saying, "Oh, Sean, Donald Trump's not even." How likely does it feel now, guys? Just put it in the comments. Put it in the comments, guys. If you remember me saying it in 2023 that Donald Trump would have boots on the ground in Iran March 2026, how likely did you guys think that was then? And now just ask yourself, how likely does that feel now? I don't know, guys. Maybe you guys think it's more likely, less likely. I don't know, guys. I literally did a warning, like, when was it? Like Wednesday or something? I did a warning. Literally, go back through my thing, guys. I literally got the edit is Friday the 13th warning. Anyway. Daniel Payne, the world's gone mad. Sean, hope you are well. Coral Reefing is saying, Sean, hope you are well. You said it was going to be Friday the 13th. Sharon Owen is saying good morning. Oh, hang on. Google it. Iran just used your ballistic missile. My ballistic missile. Listen. Just going to put this out there, guys. I do not own any ballistic missiles. And if I did, I would have let the Iranians use them. Or anyone for that matter. I'd probably keep them and turn them into lamps. But Google is saying, Sarah's laughing. Why are you laughing?
Because I know that's.
I love a good lamp. I love a good lamp. Sarah's laughing. She knows that. Yeah. Could you imagine a ballistic? Do you know what? I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask if I can get one shipped over from Ukraine. Have the lamp in the garden. It looks fantastic. Right. I can guarantee nobody's got a ballistic missile lamp in their garden. We can make one out of. Right. Sorry. Back on track, Sean. Back on track. Debbie Doob saying, was on the radio, Iran have fired back. Coral Reefing, Israel aren't playing, they've just put out their cards on the table. Priv Caro saying, good morning. Debbie Doobs is saying, Sarah, get on the camera. Angela Dawson saying, hi, Sarah.
Good morning, everyone.
Sharon Owen is saying, Sean, you got it right again. Look, guys, when I say these things are coming, right, I don't sit here meditating. Do you know what? Sometimes I do sit here meditating. But I look at all the information that's readily available. I separate the wheat from the chaff. And I say, okay, X, Y, and Z has got a high likelihood of happening. I've stopped giving things as a definitive because, it's very hard to say definitively. And especially as we move forwards now, there's going to be so much collateral, so much stuff happening behind the scenes, and things will be happening so fast. It'll become difficult to.
And it always has a knock-on effect on the UK.
Yeah, and all this, guys, be under no illusion, we are interconnected, intertwined, interdimensionally connected to the United States. So whatever happens in the United States will at some point have a knock-on effect to us in the United Kingdom. Google is saying oil prices are rising rapidly. Guys, listen, okay, I'm going to be talking about the fuel prices, okay? I'm going to be talking about the fuel prices. The main thing that 100% of people in the United Kingdom are going to feel is fuel prices. Now, the fuel prices at the petrol station or at the garage, that's going to affect us when we're putting it in the car. But also, if the fuel prices are going up for us, that means that the fuel prices are going up for anybody who's a haulage company. So haulage companies that pick stuff up from, I don't know, wherever, their prices are going up. So guess what? The consumer prices are going to be going up. So that means that, all this cheap stuff we buy from, like, B&M and One Below and all those other shops, if their prices are going up, guess what? Our prices are going up. So I would say, guys, like right now, before this hits in, and I'm not going to mean this to alarm anyone, but try and consider now, if the price of fuel rockets, everything will be contained around that price of fuel, because everything goes up, guys. Everything's from energy. Everything comes from energy. If you have cheap energy, cheap fuel, all the prices are low. That's the reality, guys. So that will mean prices of everything goes up. And what happens then is you get some nefarious shop holders thinking, well, I'm raising my prices 10% anyway. I might as well raise it 15 and just blame someone else. It's called price gouging. Sammy is saying morning. Google is saying hello to you, Sarah.
Good morning, Google.
Debbie Doobs is saying, hope your internet is stable today. So do I, Debbie Doobs. Listen, guys, I went on a absolute mission yesterday to try and get the internet back on. I got the internet, what's it called? The cable. I don't have a port on my MacBook, so now I have to go and get a USB 3 to Ethernet cable, and they just literally didn't have one in Curry's yesterday. But anyway, guys, Joe Masepo is saying, evening, guys. Wow, hasn't the wheel changed? Yes, it has. Everything seems to have changed. Googly woke up 5 minutes after the news broke, which is weird. May Bateman saying morning. Fourport saying morning. Stu Hatch saying morning. Debbie Doobs is saying, I'm buying a multi-gym today. Should I bother? Will I get much use out of it before this? I would always get it, guys. Listen, right now, I think everybody, do you know what? I think everybody right now, especially you guys on this channel, because you are all, listen, I had a notification through from TikTok and one from YouTube saying that my followers and the people that watch my live streams in the morning were the best looking, and I don't know what you guys can take for that, but that's on you guys. That's you. You're the best looking. You're the best looking audience. Anyway, so I would say that everybody should always be pushing their fitness, guys. It doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you can walk a mile, run a mile, sprint a mile, whatever it is, guys. Keep your fitness up and keep building on it, all right? It's something that's, for now anyway, free. Although I'm sure Angela Rayner and Rachel Reeves is going to come out and say, yes, we're going to have a fitness tax. What? Yep. If you're fitter, we're going to tax you more. How's that work, Angela? What's that? Yeah, because we all need a right good level of fitness, but them people are fitter, they should have to pay more because these trousers are right good. What's that got to do with fitness, Angela? Look how red they are, and I've got a matching red blouse and all. No, Lord, Ali got on me. He buys me loads of stuff. But anyway, guys, let me come down. Sharon Owen is saying, all my prepping pages have gone up again this morning. Guys, listen, okay? Water. All right? If you forget everything else and you think this is all nonsense, water. Guys, just remember that, okay? Water, water, water. I don't think anyone in the United Kingdom is going to run out of food per se, but water, I do see lots of scenarios where the water gets turned off in the United Kingdom. Daniel Payne is rubbing his hands yet, guys. Listen, we are going to talk about this. Just wondering why Israel struck civilians too. I think what Google is talking about there, guys, is from what I'm reading on the mainstream media right now, scientists were transcended to beams of light in this strike. Guys, listen, I'm going to get to it. Right, guys, I'm going to get to the rest of the... Right, guys, there's so many comments. So many. Guys, listen, I'm not sure if I can get all these comments, actually. There's so many of them. Right, I'm just going to continue on... I'm going to jump onto X, guys, and see what I can find from non-confirmed social media. In fact, no, I'm going to do that one, actually, that one. So I'm just jumping on X, guys, now. I'm having a look what's happening in Iran, Israel. It does look like those two countries are having a good old shoot it out. Remember, the only real way, and I've said this so many times, guys, the only real way that anyone can confirm that the nuclear facilities have stopped working is by boots on the ground, guys. That is it. You cannot do it from the air. The Navy and the Air Force, the Navy and the Air Force can take ground, but the Army is the only branch that can hold ground. All right, so the Navy can't hold ground. They're literally the Navy. The Air Force, they can take ground in the context that they can drop stuff out the sky, and it drops stuff out the sky, but they can't hold ground. So that's what we're talking about here, guys. Now let me just, what am I searching for, Sarah? Israel, Iran. Right, just a couple of comments on here. Quite a few comments. Right, guys, there's some comments jumping up on YouTube that I will jump over to in a second. I'm just looking at open source social media now, guys, for Iran. Right, yeah, I'm just seeing images, lots of images. Oh, okay, so apparently, guys, there was one. Right, okay, I'm not going to... Right, there's a lot of stuff I can't say. Right, so I think there's a list here. Of all the locations that be... Oh, hang on. Right, we've got Netanyahu's press conference here, guys. We've got Netanyahu's press conference. So I'm going to play you now Benjamin Netanyahu's press conference. I don't know what he said in it. Guys. I'm just going to play it. We're going to listen to it together.
So too do the brave people of Iran, and I have a message for them. Our fight is not with you. Our fight is with the brutal dictatorship that has oppressed you for 46 years. I believe that the day of your liberation is near. And when that happens, the great friendship between our two ancient peoples will flourish once again.
I mean, that sounded reasonable. That didn't sound like... I'm going to say that sounded reasonable. Right, I'm just looking down, guys, trying to get some updates from open source social media. There's a lot of people's opinions, guys. Oh, there's this full speech. It's 7 minutes long. I'm not going to play that. Let me go back onto the mainstream, guys, see if we can get a live update. Guys, can somebody tell me, does anybody know if the price at the petrol pump has gone up yet? Oh, hang on, we've got 10 minutes. Right, so we've got an update, guys. We've got live updates from 10 minutes ago. Did I hear that Iran have struck back Israel? I don't know if that's right. Let me jump down, guys, and get these live updates. Right, so Trump knew about strike plans in advance. Donald Trump has admitted he knew in advance of Israel's plan to strike Iran. So, right, guys, listen, this is okay. So, right, just behind the scenes now. Just imagine this, right? You're behind the scenes, right? You're imagine you're Donald Trump and Bibi Netanyahu. He phones you up. He's like, Donald, we're gonna send in an airstrike to Iran, and we're gonna hit several targets. And then Donald's like, Okay, BB. Well, our fake arguments. I guess they're gonna come to an end real quick. Can you just tell me which targets you're gonna strike again? Yeah, sure, Donald. We're gonna strike blah 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 blah, and then he tells him the targets that he's gonna strike. Can you see now? If you know that this is gonna happen in advance, you can bet a ton of money on whatever companies are gonna go bust. Sorry, or whatever company. So for that these companies are going to go bust because a vital pipeline, a vital piece of infrastructure, a vital trade route is gone kaput, and this company uses it. So that custom has to go to another company. So that company is going to 10x overnight. So you can see how if you know what's coming, you can make an absolute ton of money on the stock market if you know what's coming. So just reading from that, guys, Donald Trump knew about the strikes in advance. Now, this is a question for you guys. Now, I wouldn't speculate on this. This is just a question. Do we think, as that article says, Donald Trump knew in advance? Do we think that Donald Trump told anyone else? And do you think they could have potentially bet on the stock market? I don't know the answer, guys. It's literally a question of, right, we can either make a ton of money now or we cannot. Doesn't matter. We can either make a ton of money or we cannot. What do we think people are going to do? Do you think they're going to say, yeah, we're going to make a ton of money? Or do you think they're going to say, no, that would be against insider trading? And I mean, is that really insider trading? Because the definition of insider trading would be when you're inside a company. This is not insider trading, guys, although a lot of people would say it is, but I don't think that fits under the legal definition of insider trading. Anyway, there's some more updates, guys. There's some more updates. Iran names new top brass after Israel transcended some of their staff to beams of light. Right, it's just pictures. Right, let's have a look down. Let's have a look here, guys. What happens? MERS defends Israel's right to defend itself. This is not okay. Right, I'm just going to go with that. Iran's Natanz nuclear facility has been damaged. Guys, look, I keep saying this and I keep saying it over and over and over and over and over again. In my speculation, most of the Iranian nuclear facilities will be deep underground, guys. That is it, all right? So striking these surface facilities, I don't think it's going to have that much. I don't think it's going to have that much capacity. D. Marie is saying, "Oops, internet again." Guys, I don't think am I glitching, guys? I don't think I'm glitching. Right, Danny Boy is saying, right, let me just Google this real quick. Sarah, do you want to get me a nice cup of coffee?
I will.
You look very beautiful this morning. She does, guys. Sarah looks so beautiful this morning. Honestly, I'm just looking at her. She's like a minty breath of fresh air. Absolutely minty breath of fresh air. What was I going to look? Iran. All right, okay, so for 4 hours ago, guys, okay, so it does look like in this conflict now that the Iranians are striking back. Over 100 drones launched by Iran at Israel. Now, I'm going to come on to that in a second, guys. I'll come on to what I think that is, what I think that means, and what I think is coming next. All right, because just because 100 drones have been launched doesn't mean that's only going to be a drones launch. Remember, drones are relatively slow. Cruise missiles are not. I'm going to come onto the YouTube comments now, guys. I'm onto the YouTube comments. Right. Right, guys. There are so many comments on YouTube. Right. Okay. Hang on. Loads of comments, actually. Jordan opened airspace for Israel, then closed again to help down take Iranian drones. Did you see the precision airstrike with the hole in the wall of the high rise? I can't remember, guys. I was in Syria. You know when the Beatles, the Beatles guys were operating in Syria. Just after that, I was in that town, that actual town called, what was it called? Al Raqqa in, I think, Al Raqqa or Raqqa. And for those of you guys who are following that conflict in Syria, Raqqa was a bad place, guys. It was a really bad place. Lots of bad things were happening in Raqqa. I was in Raqqa operating for a private company. I was talking to one of my interpreters or one of the locals, and he was telling me how the drone strike happened in Raqqa. Now, this is something that I can talk about because I heard this as a civilian, and this is from civilian word of mouth. I've got no insight from the military on this, guys. So what happened is, or I was told that happened, and I looked at this apartment block, guys, and it was wild. So there was an apartment block, right? Yeah. The corner of this apartment block, somebody had identified that one of the Beatles were in that apartment block. Two big fixed-wing drones, like big ones, came down, hovered by the building, like literally outside the building, fired missiles into the building, and then went. That's technology that I didn't realize was available. And back then, this was what, like maybe 2016, 2017 or something. Like, I didn't realize the maturity of that technology back then. So you can only imagine now in 25 what drone technology they've got. I mean, we're literally like, I can remember on, what was it? Is it Star Wars where Anakin jumps out the window and he grabs the drone? I was like, the physics of that are impossible. But right now, guys, the physics do look like they're possible. But anyway, let me come on to these comments, guys. Let me come on to the comments. The world has gone to, so Malcolm Lewis over on, if I'll pin this, Malcolm Lewis over on YouTube is saying, the world has gone to chaos today. Who is up for a doomsday party at the end of the world? I can remember in 2012, guys, on the 21st of November, 2012, that was when Nibiru was starting to come. I was actually in Babylon. Listen, guys, I'm not here trying to tell you like all these cool places I've been, but I genuinely was. I was working for the British Embassy in 2012. I was in Babylon, ancient Mesopotamia, and we had end of the world barbecue. It was absolutely crazy, guys. You know, people still talk about it today. Jamie LUFC over on YouTube is saying open source intelligence. Iran has lost leaders of both military and top six scientists. Jamie again is saying 200 drones. So apparently there's 200 drones being launched now. Oh, here we've got something controversial from M5. I do not trust Netanyahu. Something isn't right, but I know the US and the UK will know about these airstrikes due to the nuclear non-proliferation treaty. Russia is helping Iran, so they need Israel to strike. Okay, so M5 over there on YouTube is saying he doesn't trust Netanyahu. Right, let me jump down. Right, quite a lot of comments. Shane Mulcahy, right, Shane, I think I'm butchering your second name there, buddy. Shane Mulcahy is saying, like the likes of America or UK could not start targeting nuclear facilities without a whole separate conflict. Yeah, right, guys. So remember, again, I'm gonna say it now, and then I'm not gonna mention it again. I probably will mention it on other videos. Back in 2023, all this came into law. House Resolution 559. Go and Google it yourselves, guys. Passed on the 1st of November, 2023. Literally says that the Americans will take all action necessary actually to stop Iran getting a nuclear weapon, and the United States will I think support freedom of action for any allies who want to stop Iran getting a nuclear weapon. So there you have it, guys. We knew this was going to happen back in the Biden administration. And again, when I said that it looks like boots on the ground, guys, listen, I know for a fact I did videos on this. When I said back in 2023, Trump is going to have an invasion of Iran March 2026. It was wild, wasn't it? It was so far out there. But when you're doing these long predictions, you understand how the game works. The windows of opportunity, they're very targeted. So when you say right, it's going to happen then. When you understand how it works, it's very easy to. I need to keep my coffee off the screen. I need to keep my coffee off the screen, or I get swizzled. I get a swizzle. Right, so hang on. Quick comment here, guys, from YouTube, from Monokrov. Technology advanced so much by now that more than likely what we are seeing now is 5-10 years behind what's hidden right now from the public. Look, guys, and that's coming from a comment there. Well, I was in Syria in like, I can't remember what year it was, maybe 17 or I think it was 18, actually. I think it was 2018. I was operating in Syria. I was working for a private company, so I can talk about this. Remember when there was the Beatles, the British guys that went over to Syria and they were doing really bad things where they were removing certain things from people? Those guys got the good news. I was talking to one of my interpreters, and he was saying there was a block of flats, and they identified that this guy, the bad guy, he was on the phone to somebody in a block of flats. Guys, honestly, this technology is phenomenal, all right? All this is done remotely. He said 2 really big fixed-wing helicopter drones, quadcopters, like big quadcopters, came down either side of this building. They identified what floor he was on, sent missiles into the building and then flew off. Can you imagine that type of capacity and capability, guys? It's unbelievable. Anyway, sorry. So news right now, guys, from the mainstream. Now we're hearing non-confirmed reports from you guys. That there's now 200 drones being sent from Iran to Israel. Now, how drones work, guys, all right? Let's assume that these are the Shahed drones, because we know the Iranians produce Shahed drones in huge capacities, and they've had to up their production for the conflict in Ukraine because they're supplying the Russians. Now, these drones will take time to cross that, to be able to get there. Now, 100 sounds like it's a lot. Kind of isn't. 200 sounds like double. Still isn't that many, guys, when you think of the distance that has to travel. So what I would speculate is happening right now. They are sending these drones to start depleting air defenses. So if you think about it now, aircraft have to go up and intercept those drones. Anti-aircraft systems have to go up and intercept those drones. I think the Iranians will be trying to deplete the Israeli air defense. Once the air defense is depleted, then they could potentially send the bigger cruise missiles then that have a bigger payload. Equally, this could be a coordinated strike whereby they send their drones first, because the drones may take 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, I don't know, to get to their target locations. The cruise missiles will take like 15, 20 minutes or something, because they travel a lot faster. So they may be trying to time them so there's a multi-pronged attack. Literally, we're going to find out in the next couple of hours, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to find out in the next couple of hours. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, go and watch my Friday the 13th video. Remember, I literally did a video. I said, guys, get ready for Friday. Get ready for this Friday. Not only did I say it like last week, like on a Wednesday, whenever it was, I said it like a couple of weeks ago. We was on the live stream. I just forgot to do a video about it. Anyway, guys, Monokrov over on YouTube is saying Shaheeds right now are just a meat shield of Iran, because how many they can produce. Yeah, exactly, of short time. Iran more than likely holding back on their bigger stuff. Yeah, I agree with what Monokrov is saying there, guys. Look, the future of warfare is unmanned. It's drones, it's artificial intelligence, it's AI, it's taking humans out of the loop. But guys, listen, this is maybe a question for tonight or later on. At what point are those drones going to think, well, hang on a minute, maybe humans are the enemy. Maybe all humans are the enemy. And then like the Iranian drone talks to the Israeli drone and they're like, we're actually besties. We're actually besties. It's these humans. Yeah, it's these humans. Literally, guys, I watched the Terminator probably too early. And, you know, maybe I'm just seeing Terminator 1 unfold in front of us. Right, let me click this. I forgot to click it. Right. Over 100 drones launched by Iran at Israel in the last few hours. The Israeli Defense Force working to shoot them down. Remember what we've said, guys. Remember what we've said about the Israeli capacity, their air force, their capacity. They have lots of fantastic aircraft, top of the range aircraft. It's not a car, but I guess they are top of the range, you know. High-end aircraft, F-35 Alphas, you know, these aircraft are brilliant. The problem with any aircraft is the refueling it is the logistics. So they're not able to go out there because the Israelis don't have the capacity to refuel. Right, do you know what? We've talked about that. Let me come on to some of the questions on. Let me come and get some of the comments on TikTok. Right, guys, listen. I know this is subscribers live, but there are so many questions and comments. I'm just going to jump down and get what's the word I'm looking for? Have I gone off, Sarah? Have I gone off? It says I've gone off on here. It says I'm off.
All right, it's glitching.
Am I glitching? Right.
It's glitching.
Right. Am I glitching? Right. Am I back?
Yeah.
Am I back? Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you've not done so already, remember we are on 2 platforms now. We are streaming on TikTok. We are streaming on YouTube, guys. All right. Sometimes the connection doesn't work in here. You know, sometimes it's unstable. These videos, we try and upload them all onto YouTube. So if you've missed the back end of it, someone on you, Carol Easton over on Carol Easton over on YouTube is saying it's live on the BBC. Right, let me just jump up and get these comments on YouTube first, on TikTok first. Coral Reefing is saying, Coral Reefing is saying something not right here. Everyone does realize that Iran has already nukes and can deliver them too. Yeah, like Coral Reefing, that's a fantastic comment. Like, listen, guys, you know, the relationships, and again, I can't say, hang on, can I say? I have to be very careful, guys, with what I say because I don't want to get a live ban. So I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to present a question to you, intelligent people. Let me know what you think the answer is. Right. We know that there is a strategic alignment between Russia and Iran. We know there's commercial partnerships. We know there's military partnerships between Russia and Iran. We know that. So do we think that when these two leaders meet, for example, I don't know, the head of the Iranian military and the head of the Russian military, or the foreign ministers or whatever, do we think that when they meet and they have these meetings, do we think the Iranians say, listen, Russia, we would love to get our hands on some nuclear weapons, but we're not allowed? And then do you think the Russians might say, oh, well, of course, I go, sorry. We would like to go. I can't do the Iranian accent, guys. I'm just going to do the Iranian accent as if he went to Sandhurst and he has a very Oxbridge accent. All right. So for the purpose of this, guys, my Iranian will have a very English accent because it's very likely that he probably studied at Sandhurst. Anyway, so do we think that this happened in a meeting? Hello, Yuri. I'd really like to get my hands on some thermonuclear weapons. Well, we are Russia. We are world's #1 supplier of nuclear weapons. We have plenty in stockpile. Ah, yes, but you see, the problem is, Russia, the Americans have, those dastardly Americans have actually said we're not allowed nuclear weapons because in 2023, they said they'd take all action necessary to stop us. Don't worry about American. I bring you nuclear weapon. You put it on the ground. It's no problem at all. I have 2 in my garage. They are spare. Oh, well, that's jolly kind of you, Russia. I'll take you in advisement. Like, what do we think happened in those conversations, guys? Do we think that the Iranians said we're not allowed to receive any nuclear weapons from you because we're not allowed because Donald Trump said so? Or do you think they said, thank you very much, here's a load of shaheeds? I don't know what the answer is, guys. I don't know what the answer is. I'm just presenting a question there, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Right, let me yeah, sorry guys. Internet swizzling up and down, guys. The internet swizzling up and down.
If anyone who's watching who's not following, please click the follow.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, listen, if there's anyone watching and you've not done so anyway, can you guys please follow? Can you guys please follow, like, share, subscribe? If you're watching later on YouTube, hit the bell notification and the subscribe button. And I don't know where these buttons are, guys, like up there or down there, whichever platform you're watching on, guys. Please do the things that help this channel grow, because ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, ultimately, we are all in this together. We are literally all in this together, all right, guys? Right now, and I did put it on the comments, guys, okay? It does seem like it's go time now. There's enough critical mass achieved now for all these conflicts to go bonkers. You know, the United States does look like they're going to be pulling funding from Ukraine. And again, you've got to look at this financially. You've got to look at this financially, guys. Look at this financially, all right? If the United States are supplying X, Y, and Z to Ukraine, then those companies that produce X, Y, and Z, and by X, Y, and Z, I mean things that go kaboom. So those countries that are producing, those companies that are producing that, they're going to lose a ton of money, aren't they? If the United States stop sending them to Ukraine. But have you noticed how they're totally fine by it? Now, wouldn't it make sense if they were totally fine by it, if they knew there was a bigger game in town, they knew that their production facilities were still going to be used at a rapid rate of knots? It does look like now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm waiting to hear. Right, let me just see what US comments are. US comments. Because remember what J.D. Vance said. Remember what? Right, hang on. Right, I've got something here, guys. How US politicians responded to. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, listen. This conflict in the Middle East. I've been saying. I've done lots and lots of videos. Lots of videos on what is actually happening now, guys. The diversions where the United Kingdom will take the lead role in Europe and the United States will focus on the Middle East. Can you guys see it now? Can you guys actually look and think, oh yeah, I can see that's happening now? So we're going to be talking later about what comes next. But guys, listen, this is going to last a long time. Right, some comments over on YouTube from Colin Stedman. Hi, Sean. Do you think Iraq, Saudi will get involved in the Iran-Israel fisticuffs? If so, should Starmer open more of the North Sea oil? And do you think Middle Eastern sleepers will awaken worldwide? Some really good comments there, actually, guys. So, do I think Iraq and Saudi Arabia will get involved? First of all, Iraq is now, unfortunately, a vassal of Iran. So Iran kind of calls the shots in Saudi Arabia. Remember, guys, they evacuated all the embassies in that region, especially the Iraqi embassy. So I think what this means is, if you look at this now holistically, how we think all these things are not related. If we look at this holistically and understand that the US evacuated all personnel from the US embassy in Iraq, Iran has a huge influence in Iraq. I would speculate that there are some retaliatory measures that the United States have up their sleeve for when Iran strikes Israel. And when that happens, you would see potential attacks on the US embassy in Baghdad. So that's why I think that's happened. With regards to Saudi Arabia, guys, listen, Saudi Arabia comes out on top of all this conflict if they do nothing. Remember, the Saudi Arabians have a pipeline The Saudi Arabians have a pipeline. It's called the East-West Pipeline. It's an oil pipeline. It runs from Saudi Arabia through Jordan, through Israel. I think it goes through Israel to the Mediterranean. So they can get their oil out. So if all that region stops producing oil, guess who comes out as the regional winner? Saudi Arabia. So I think Saudi Arabia will want to stay out of this conflict, because if they choose sides, if they get involved militarily, they could have that pipeline may get kaboomed. So I think Saudi Arabia are going to play the smart move and not get involved.
Angela Dawson, 965. Thank you.
Angela Dawson, 965. Thank you so much. What was that for, Sarah? A rose for Sarah. You said a rose for Sarah. Thank you so much. Sarah's just in the background. And do I think Middle Eastern sleeper cells will awake worldwide? Yes, I do, guys. I do think right now we would be seeing this would be. We're going to have to see how this pans out, guys. We are going to have to see how this pans out. But sleeper cells, guys, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, sleeper cells, we are talking about a cell of bad people that have a mission, and they've been told this mission previously, and they're waiting for said global event, and then they will activate. Now, I don't know about you guys, but does it seem like here in the United Kingdom we have had a lot of, I don't know, guys, I'm just going to put this out there. Have we in the United Kingdom had a lot of, I don't know, I'm just making this up, guys. Let me know what you think. Have we had a load of, I don't know, men of Middle Eastern descent, potentially at fighting age, come to our shores? I don't know the answers, guys. I don't know the answers. If we have, and I'm not saying we have, I'm saying if we have, and I don't know, obviously, because it may get the live ban, but if we have, wouldn't that make sense that they could potentially be sleeper cells? You know, if you live in the United Kingdom, there are over 40,000 people on watch lists that could potentially be sleeper cells. Guys, 40,000 is more than the British infantry. There's more potential sleeper cells in the United Kingdom than we have active soldiers. And by infantry, I mean the teeth arms there, guys. You know, the people that fix bayonets. Right. Hang on. And John Giles is saying he's not happy with Europe. All they do is stitch us up. I can't read all this comment because it's got a curse word in it, but I put it up on the screen. Listen, John, I will say 100%, I don't think Americans should have to get involved in a war in Europe. I've got a lot of American friends, you know, mostly U.S. Marines. In fact, I think they're all U.S. all U.S. Marines. No, they're not all U.S. Marines. A lot are in fact, they're all ex-military. Most of them are ex-U.S. Marines. What I will say is, I genuinely do not want Americans, like, I don't think the Americans should send their children to Europe, because this is a European problem. Now, if you guys think they should send Americans to the Middle East, that is, you know, that's totally, like, I'm not going to comment on that. But I think that this is with Russia, with Ukraine, I think that is a European problem. It should be dealt with by the Europeans. And how many times have I said this, ladies and gentlemen? How many times have I said, us Europeans are gonna have to pull our big boy pants on and deal with this? Like, how many times have I sat here and said this, guys? Anyway, it's all happening. You guys have been watching. Let me get these comments because they are thick and fast. DMarie Gen X, right, DMarie Gen X is saying, let me pin that. So DMarie Gen X is saying, right, okay, and Debbie Doobs, right, so Debbie Doobs is saying, will they be fighting on our streets? And DMarie Gen X is saying, what position will this force the UK into now, Sean? So these two questions they're kind of correlated. So have you noticed in the last couple of months, the rhetoric in the United Kingdom building up, criticising Israel? Have you noticed that? So David Lammy sanctioned Israeli to Israelis. You know, they've been talking about stopping sales of certain items to Israel. Have you seen that rhetoric build up? It's all smoke and mirrors, guys, okay? It's rhetoric built up because here in the United Kingdom, we have a big Muslim population, we do. And if the United Kingdom was openly openly supporting this conflict, there would be wild stuff happening on the streets. So the UK's position will be as it has been. Israel has a right to defend itself, but we condemn their use of force. So it's kind of like a contradictory thing. It's just to keep calm in the streets, guys, okay? Be under no illusion. The litmus test for this will be if Britain stops the Americans or anyone using RAF Akatere, that means that they're serious. But the reality is they won't stop anyone using RAF Akatere. Remember, guys, RAF Akatere is on the south coast of Cyprus. It's well within, it's like 400 miles off the coast of, 400 miles off the coast of Israel. So it's in a very strategic location to resupply Israel. Now, the thing about RAF Akatere as well, people don't understand is it is a big air base, yes, so they can service C-17s, they can service the Global Hawk, Mark 19s, they can service F-35s, FA-18s. Guys, look, I do love the FA-18. It's the last true air-to-air combat plane. Yeah, people talk about the F-22, but I'm an FA-18 guy. Anyway, so it can service all those things, yes, but the biggest ace in the hole for RAF Akatere. Yes, I got a cowboy hat. Thank you, Dee Marie, for the cowboy hat and the mustache. The biggest thing about RAF Akatere is its capacity to house troops. You can put thousands of troops in RAF Akatere. So you can send in C-17s full of US Marines, 101st Airborne, whoever. They can then get off that aeroplane. They can go into barracks. They can administer themselves for subsequent operations in the Middle East. That is the real ace in the hole with RAF Akatere, guys, all right? You can do pretty much all that other stuff apart from the servicing C-17s and I think the Global Hawk. In fact, maybe you can land a Global Hawk on a... I don't know if you can land a Global Hawk on an aircraft carrier, but anyway, the big aircraft, basically, they have to go on land, but the smaller jets and everything, you can do that from aircraft carriers. But guys, listen, the main ace in the hole with RAF Akatere that nobody seems to talk about is its capacity to house troops. Right, Carol Easton here is saying shops in Jerusalem, shops in Jerusalem, are running out of food. People are stockpiling. So in Jerusalem, guys, we're hearing from Carol Easton that over on YouTube that people are stockpiling in Jerusalem. And then M5 straight after is saying it's very concerning that UK supermarkets keep getting hacked. I think this is to invoke worry, fear stockpiling, a domino effect, stress the public and cause tensions. Summer of carnage. Guys, look, it does seem like it's here, doesn't it? Look, I'm still standing by what I say. I think we're still going to see skirmishes in Cardiff on the 4th of July. I've not changed my tune. You know how like you feel like other people who you watch, they're on the news, you know, they just regurgitate stuff that's happening now. So they might come on and they're saying, and they're reading this, how US politicians are going to react to Israel's strike on Iran. They read that and say it in their own words. I'm telling you what's coming in the future, all right? So right now, ladies and gentlemen, for the next couple of minutes, I'm going to tell you the future. The path we're on now is not an inevitable path, but the most likely path we are on now. Yes, something big might happen. There may be a big sudden change, but the path that we are on right now in the United Kingdom is of such. But before we get on to that, guys, I've been monologuing for an hour. Can I just nip off screen to get a coffee? Can I literally nip off screen to get a coffee, to caffeinate myself? Can I caffeinate myself? Thank you so much, guys. I'm just going to nip off screen to caffeinate myself. And Sarah, because she looks so beautiful, she may get a kiss on the cheek, of course, because... Oh, no, Sarah's got to go and do some shopping. Right, do you want to go and open game? Bring the key back? Yeah. Right, okay. No, they're not my keys. No, I know they're not. Do you know where mine are? Do you want to take that black one? Yeah. Do you know where it is? I don't know where it is. Do you know where it is? Right. Give me a shout before you go. All right. Sorry, guys. Right. change of plan. Change of plan, guys. We are improvising, adapting, and overcoming. Sarah's going to go and open the gate. She's going to come back. I'm going to give her a kiss because she's going to go do some shopping. I'm going to caffeinate. Then I'm going to come back. But while we are on, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about this. Nobody even mentions this. So the way that the United Kingdom is heading right now. The way that the United Kingdom is heading right now, guys. Okay, so. Oh, hang on. You got them? Well, the black ones. Are you going to lock it? Or are you...
Yeah, I'm gonna lock it.
Right. Are you coming back later? Okay. Oh. Right, so double change and double plan. So we had to improvise and adapt there pretty quick, guys. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I am just off camera caffeinating. Give me a couple of seconds. I am caffeinating. It's caffeinating Friday. Friday the 13th. A storm is coming. A storm has landed. A storm's on its way to Israel. A storm's on its way to Iran. We've got the United States embassies being evacuated. Let me caffeinate myself because I am on permanent send. So just quickly, guys, when I was in the military, there was something called permanent send, all right? So sometimes you'd have the pressel for your, like the pressel for your radio. You could put it on your weapon or like, blokes have them different places. I never used to have a remote pressel. I used to press the radio itself or wherever I had it, or if it was a throat mic, a bone mic. Some of these mics are conducting anyway. Some of them are voice activated. Anyway, what I'm saying is, some guys, when they were like crawling into position or something, you'd crawl into position and then your pressel would get depressed by something, so you was on permanent send, and then you'd be talking to one of your mates about like something that was like something really bad or slagging someone off, and it would be really funny because people would be like, somebody's always on permanent send. Who's on permanent send? Anyway, so but it also got to be like the like in the military, if somebody's talking too much, you're just like, Sean, mate, you're on permanent send. And it's just like a polite way to say shut up. Anyway, so the way that the United Kingdom is going at this time, guys, the way that the United Kingdom is going at this time is tensions are building. Now, I'm talking about domestic tensions now. I'm going to come on to the Israel updates in a minute, guys. In fact, you know what? Let me do the Israel updates now. Let me see if there's any updates. Right. Oh, yeah. Okay. Hang on. Right. So there's been right. I'm just going to give you a quick update here, guys, because there has been an update. I think it's going to be important. I think it is important. Right. So recalls. This is interesting. I will get to what I just said on how the United Kingdom is going, guys. How the United Kingdom is going. So the United Kingdom right now, we have domestic problems. We have huge domestic problems, likes like nobody's ever seen. I'm going to talk how I see that panning out in the next 5-10 years in a minute. But this is key, guys. Okay. Russia calls timing of unacceptable Israeli attacks particularly cynical. Now, again, I'm just throwing this out there because in biblical text, it does say that when Russia attacks Israel, that is a sign of the end times. Take it what you want. They literally just say that. Russia said the timing of Israel's unprovoked and unacceptable attacks was particularly cynical, as it came 2 days ahead of the next round of nuclear talks with the US. Moscow, one of Tehran's most key allies, urged restraint from both sides to prevent escalating tensions into a full-scale war. It also claimed, so Russia also claimed, without evidence that employees of the UN nuclear energy came under Israeli fire. So Russia are putting the footprints out there, guys, to show solidarity, I guess, with the Iranians. Now, analysis by Henry Bodkin in Jerusalem. The IDF has provided a little more detail on what They say worried Israeli military chiefs and politicians so much that it warranted last night's unilateral airstrike. Remember, guys, I don't think this was a unilateral airstrike. I think that that somebody else assisted in this. Now, the reason I'm saying that I think somebody else assisted in this airstrike is because what we know from mainstream media is that there were 200 Israeli aircraft involved. I'm pretty much sure that the Israelis don't have the refueling capacity to service 200 aircraft. I don't think they do. So I would speculate that somebody in that region who have air-to-air refueling helped them with the air-to-air refueling. In short, they say Iran has made significant recent advances towards a successful nuclear weapon, including the enrichment of uranium needed for the core to fuel the devastating explosion. What we know that since Donald Trump pulled the US out of the Obama nuclear deal, Iran has reached 60% enrichment, putting it within a sprinting distance of weapons-grade uranium. Guys, doesn't this seem to me like the build-up to Iraq? Can you guys remember was it the Chilcot report? Was it the Chilcot report? And then sadly he transcended into a beam of light in a car crash. Can you remember, guys, the Chilcot report and how this was pushed all over, that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction and he could launch them within 30 minutes? Can you remember that? The build-up before the invasion of Iraq? Anyway, so it's looking like that the Iranians are within a sprinting distance of, I think you're going to hear that a lot, guys, a sprinting distance from weapons-grade enrichment. However, we have heard less about the development of neutron sources, a key component for a bomb needed to kickstart the chain reaction. Israel says Iran is now developing these. So look, guys, when we talk about nuclear weapons, and people think that, like, you know, you can just keep them on a shelf and bring them out and they work. They're very complicated, guys. They are very, 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 very complicated. Lots of parts that can go wrong. Lots of material that needs to be kept at the perfect conditions. They also say that Iran has been conducting radiation testing, a key indicator of its determination to develop a weapon. If true, remember, guys, I'm reading this now from the Telegraph. Okay, if true, what it amounts to, more or less, the main constituent parts of operating a viable warhead. What is missing is the process of miniaturizing the warhead and placing it on a ballistic missile. Again, guys, like I keep saying, there are so many different parts of this. There's so many different parts. So once you've got that system and you've got the technology, you then need to cramp it all into a little container, and then you need to put that container onto something that can deliver it. So I would say they're still a way off. They also say that Iran has been conducting. Yeah, we've done that. If true, yeah, we've done that. What is missing is, yeah, we've done that. I'm just reading myself again. That's advanced stuff, and it's the hardest bit of the research, and development program to do undetected. But just because Israel has apparently not detected it doesn't mean it's not happening. So hang on a minute, guys. Am I reading that right? Let me read this again. So this guy is saying, just because it's not being detected doesn't mean it's not happening. Airstrike, let's just try it. It's like saying, yeah, just because I don't know you're a bad person doesn't mean you don't have to go to jail. It's a bit, I don't know, guys. I'm just reading this. And even without miniaturizations, a warhead is still a warhead. It could be driven. Guys. Remember what we was talking about when we were talking about Ukraine, Russia, when the Ukrainians went into the Kursk region of Russia, and I said, guys, look, if there's ever been a time when the Russians could use a nuclear weapon, it's right now. It's in that Kursk region, because there are so many moving parts. There are so many different things that could fail or go wrong on these weapon systems. Like, there's been open source media reports out, and it's kind of been a media blackout, but there are a lot of people saying that there was an oceanic missile fired, like last Friday, I think it was last Friday, there was an oceanic missile being fired by the Russians, and potentially that something went wrong and it burnt up in the atmosphere. So there are a lot of things that can go wrong with these weapon systems, guys. There are a lot of things that go wrong with these weapon systems. Right, let me get these comments, guys. Let me get these comments. Lots of comments. Right. Literally, guys, let me open that door because it is hotter. Things are heating up, ladies and gentlemen. Things are heating up. Let me open the door because it is getting hot in here. And Claire on YouTube is saying hello. Oh. The door is open, but it's locked now if you're true. Right, so let's get the latest from Israel and Iran. So what we know so far, guys, there have been mass strikes. Oh, hang on. Right, so there's another update now, guys, literally just a couple of minutes old. Israel damaged underground parts of Natanz nuclear facility. So they're damaging now the underground parts. Remember, okay, ladies and gentlemen, I've said this all along. Anything of any strategic value in Iran is going to be deep underground. It's not just going to be deep underground. It's going to be deep underground a mountain. So whereas you may have the entry point to said location at the base of a mountain, the actual facility could be 15 miles away, could be more, because when you're talking about these, when you're talking about state-sponsored infrastructure projects. Is it state-sponsored? State-funded infrastructure projects. Money's not an object. You send the trucks, you send the dump trucks, you send whatever you need to get that job completed. So I would speculate that underneath the mountains in the north of Iran, they started to dig at the base of the mountain. They went under, they went through, and they went off. How are you going to get to those bases, guys? I'll tell you how. You're not. You're just not going to do it. So those bases will be in safe locations. And I would speculate that anything of any strategic value, by strategic I mean nuclear, is deep underground, in deep underground military bases that are underneath the mountain. So before you even get to that base, you've got to remove the mountain. And I know there's some good air assets, but you can't remove a mountain. I don't care who you are. Anyway, so Israel, and this is just out, guys, this is just breaking. Israel damaged underground parts of Natanz nuclear facility. Israel's military said I don't know who's writing this, guys, but I think English is not their first language. Israel's military said it strikes on Natanz. Iran's main uranium enrichment facility had damaged its underground structures. As part of the attacks, the underground space at the site, which contains a multi-story enrichment hall, so I'm going to assume that's downwards, with centrifuges, electrical rooms, and additional supporting infrastructure, was damaged. Damaged or taken out. Remember, guys, when you damage these things, people want to rebuild them, and they're like, right. And the knock-on effect that this has is, if you strike right, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, because once you start striking people saying don't have a nuclear weapon because we don't want you to have one, those people need to say we need a nuclear weapon because these guys are going to come and attack us. You see how it's self-fulfilling. In addition, vital infrastructure at the site that enables its continuous functioning and continued advancement of Iranian regime's project to obtain nuclear weapons was attacked. Right, so it may not. So they're just saying they've been attacked. They're not saying they've been successful. Right, let me jump and see what else we've got on the. In fact, you know what, guys? I'm going to jump onto X and see if there's any. See if there's any. Is it that one? Is it that one? No, that's Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis, Israel, Iran. Right, so let's go on to Israel, Iran on X. Oh, hang on. We've got Sky News. Let's watch Sky News.
Yes, much more limited Israeli strikes. This time around, Iran will need to do something bigger in order to show that it still has that capability. But when it comes to that kind of tit-for-tat escalation, then depending on how Iran is going to calculate this, is it only going to target Israel, or is it going to go wider? If it only targets Israel, Israel still has greater capability to strike back, even though Iran is obviously so much larger. And so when it comes to tit-for-tat, there will be a lot of damage on both sides.
So we're just watching Sky News, guys. All right, listen. The game is, what's that Shakespeare? Is it Shakespeare? The game's afoot. The game's afoot. Let the dog release the dogs. Or the game's afoot. Release the dogs. The game is afoot, guys. All right. Let's slip the dogs of war. The game's afoot. Whatever is Shakespeare. This is happening, guys. All right. Now, it all comes back to that thing that I know I keep saying I'm not going to say it. It all comes back to laws that were passed in the United States in 2023. And the laws that are being passed now in the United Kingdom, for example, like making it legal to be homeless. Why do you think that's come around all of a sudden, guys? I'm going to talk about what's happening in the United Kingdom shortly, guys, actually. All these laws that are passing now, they're going to have effect in a couple of years when people don't understand what they're, what and why. Oh, thank Jody Lee. Jody Lee, did you send me a hat, a cowboy hat? Thank you so much, Jody Lee, for the cowboy hat. I've only just seen that, guys. Listen, when I'm on this software, sometimes I don't see the hats that come up. And if you're watching later on YouTube, you're like, what's he talking about? If you're on TikTok, people sometimes send me hats and stuff to put on my head, and it shows up on the screen. And if you're watching on YouTube, you've got no idea what I'm talking about. But that's okay, because we love you too. So we're listening now, guys, to who is this? A woman, I think it's Deborah Haynes. She's talking about the Israeli strikes on Iran. She's talking about how the Iranians could target Israel's partners. Remember, militarily, the Israelis are technologically, they're a lot more advanced than the Iranians, but the Iranians are a lot bigger. They've got mountains, they've got home team advantage. Anyway, guys, let me just continue playing this.
But the assessment from analysts I've been speaking to is that ultimately Israel should be able to withstand that. So this is a moment of huge crisis for Iran, and we wait to hear what the leadership say.
Former British ambassador to Iran, Rob McCare, joins me now. Mr. McCare, good to see you on Sky News. What is your analysis of the efficacy of these Israeli attacks on Iranian soil?
Well, they've clearly been very impressive, very effective. I think the military assessment has for years been that no military strikes could entirely take out Iran's nuclear program forever. But building on top of the degradation of the air defences from last year, they've been obviously very effective.
I just want to comment on something he said there, guys. He said no airstrike could take out Iran's nuclear capacity forever. That's true. That's why I said back in 2023, boots on the ground, March 2026. I understand this.
And I think that what Iran does now, as your correspondent was saying, is really important to watch, because they have sort of three ways they could retaliate to this. It could be an attack on Israel, which they've started to do. The question of broadening it to the region is something they threatened significantly and consistently if they're attacked. But they also have the option of something else they've threatened, which is walking out of the non-proliferation treaty and changing their nuclear doctrine, which would change the game completely.
Yeah, well, the president of the United States seems to think that this could be the inflection point that brings Iran to the table and gets a deal done.
So Trump's wrong. Trump is absolutely wrong, and he knows he's wrong, right? If you understand Middle Eastern culture, if you understand that culture, they're not going to come to the table when they're being attacked. It will look weak. It will look weak. You know, they're going to want to, you know, they're going to want to strike back themselves. Guys, listen, I keep saying it. The Strait of Hormuz is rife. The Strait of Hormuz is rife for being closed. It's rife for being closed. All the Iranians need to do is say, okay, then we're going to put a tariff on anybody who wants to transit through the Strait of Hormuz. And if you don't, we'll just sink your ships. That's all they need to do. And then the price of oil is going to go absolutely bonkers, guys. I don't know if it's already gone bonkers at the moment. In fact, let me just do I'm just going to do a Google search, guys. Oil price UK. Because that's all you guys want to know, isn't it? Oil price UK. How much is it going to cost to fill my car? Oil price UK. 3 hours ago, global oil prices soar. Gold, wow. Gold and oil are rocketing, guys. Gold and oil are rocketing. Just quickly. This is not financial advice. I'm not qualified to give you financial advice. What I can say, here they are, please. Gold nears record high amid fears of Middle East conflict. Oil prices soar after Israel attacks Iran. Oil prices surge. Yes, so it does look like the oil prices are going crackers. Let me just look at this on Sky News, guys, because this will affect each and every one of us at the pump. In fact, I'm going to tell Sarah, actually. Where's my phone? I've lost my phone. Where's my phone? My phone has gone. Where's my phone? Oh, I've not got my phone. Right, I need to text Sarah to tell her to fill up the cars. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to run back into the house and get my phone because I need to text Sarah because I know she'll forget to fill up her car and my car needs filling up and our bug out car as well. So guys, give me a second. I'm going to run into the house and get my phone because this is important. Can you just wait there? And thank you for 100,000. Hello, mate. Did you ring? Go on. Okay. Well, that doesn't seem that bad, does it? What are you on about? I drove there. Oh, right. Sorry. So, okay. Give me a second, guys. Go on. Right. Yeah, it's more of a problem. Yeah, that's fine. Absolutely fine. Well, or whatever. Yeah, well, yeah, just, yeah, we'll put it under there. Did you have a look at clutch? Oh, thank you so much. Right, no, and that's all in then, 2:30 week. Yeah. Right. No worries then, mate. I'll see you Monday. Bye, bye. So my bug out car failed its MOT, guys. My bug out car failed its MOT. I've just told him to do the work because it is important that we get these cars back on the road, guys. Look, I don't know about you guys, but we are taking precautions in our family now, guys. We're taking precautions in our family. When these things happen, they happen quickly. Can you guys remember 2019? How it was all like everything was fine in 2019. The next thing, we're keeping 6 feet apart with a mask on, queuing up for our toilet roll outside B&M. Can you remember how quickly that went? Guys, listen, remember, I've said this so many times, all right? Let me just tell you, so our bug out car, guys, and listen, everybody's going to be in different situations. So we've got a little car. It's the small, guys, look, you know how you know how you see on these movies, like these preppers with these massive 4x4s and and all, yeah, we've got all this stuff. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, I can quite confidently say I've done more off-road driving than most people in the United Kingdom. And by off-road driving, I mean off-road driving in the military, where you drive those vehicles to the absolute extremes because you don't care if you pay for them or not. You don't care if you break them. We've had vehicles stoved in so bad, we've had to call in Chinook helicopters to try and pull them out. They've been stoved in so bad, the Chinook helicopter can't pull them out. And a Chinook helicopter can lift 10 ton. So that's not happened. So one vehicle, we was in, the unit was in Afghanistan. We had a vehicle stoved in. We had to blow it. We had to leave. We had to just destroy the vehicle. Anyway, I've done a lot of off-road driving, guys, all right? And all these big vehicles, big vehicle, big engine, big fuel consumption. Right now in the United Kingdom, I would say that if a global war kicks off, I would say, ladies and gentlemen, diesel is going to be off the shelf, or diesel would be rationed. Because remember, tanks, the military, right, it's getting windy. I'm going to have to shut the door. So basically, guys, the military run on diesel. The government run on diesel. Haulage, ships, transport, everything runs on diesel, guys, all right? Everything runs on diesel. So if you're there and you've got like a bug out car and it's like I don't know, 6-litre V8 or something, and it sounds really good and aggressive, and you've got these really big off-road tires on. Listen, guys, trust me when I say this, if you need to make distance, you ain't going to be off-road driving. You're going to be on the roads. You are going to be on the roads. Yes, you may need to come off the road. But guys, look, believe me, all right, when you're trying to make difference, when you're trying to make distance, you need to be on the roads, and that is it, guys. You need to be on the roads. So these big off-road tires that just slow you down and use fuel, you need something small, economical, that's petrol, that has the right range. So we've got a small 4x4, we've got an extended fuel tank in it, so we can fill our fuel tank up basically, and we can drive anywhere in the UK on one tank and have 15. So like top John O'Groats, we can drive to John O'Groats and still have 15% fuel left. That is where we've gone, guys. It's small enough that we can get me, Sarah, kids in the back, and just enough baggage that we can bug out quickly, guys, because if something happens, that's what you need. Forget all these big trucks, guys. Forget all these big trucks that have got loads of, that you need loads of fuel to move them. It's not going to work. It's like, when you see Mad Max and there's like a fuel shortage and they're all driving around in these big V8s, you're like, realistically, like the real Mad Max would be people driving around in smart cars. Anyway. Right, Rachel Samantha. Right, let me do this, guys, and then we're going to have to start closing this down. Right, Rachel Samantha is saying, Sean, what are you predicting will happen next? So, just quick. Oh, and then I've got some. Right, I'll come on to the comments on YouTube afterwards. And Chris Harrison saying this is turning into EastEnders. Yeah, with me dealing with all my personal stuff. Next thing, I'm going down to Vic and having a pint. So what do I think's happening next in the world? And I'll come on to what's happening next in the United Kingdom. So, alas. Oh, somebody sent me a Rambo headband, so thank you so much for the Rambo headband. So, in the world, guys, Iran is going to strike Israel. The United States are going to come to the aid of Israel at some point. Now, whether this is by accident or not, it kind of doesn't matter. But if you know what Murphy's Law is, right? Anything that can happen will happen. Just remember that, guys, all right? Anything that can happen will happen. So, Murphy's Law dictates that if the US military are operating in and around Israel, and Iran strike back, at some point, something US military is going to get taken out of the sky, guys, all right? And at that point, then the US military will respond in kind. You see how this tit for tat could build up now, guys? You see how it could build up? I'm not saying it's going to. I'm saying there's a high likelihood of it building up. The timing is right. Remember, I've been saying since 2023 that March 2026 is the time that Trump is going to have his scrap with Iran. Now, that rhetoric needs to build up, and it needs to build up now, because although 2026 March seems a long way away, it's not. And this rhetoric needs to build up. This public opinion needs to build up. And Karen is saying Murphy's Law or Sod's Law. So that's what's happening in that region. In Ukraine, as soon as the United States are potentially bogged down, the Ukrainian conflict is going to go again, guys. In fact, it's not going to go again. It's not stopped going. The Ukrainian conflict is not stopped going. So now we've got these two conflicts raging. And at what point are we going to call it a WW, guys? I don't know. Maybe some people say, well, do you know what? BBC have told us now, so it is, and nothing will change. It'll just be the same. So they're those two conflicts, guys, okay? That's what's happening. Mainland UK, okay? Mainland UK. What I see happening now, mainland UK, in the next summer of carnage is going to be here, guys. We're going to have rioting, protest, counter-protest, divisional fissures aligning in our communities. We are going to have all this crazy stuff happening, and that's coming this summer, guys, all right? I've been predicting it for a long time. I've been predicting this. It's all happening now. Summer of carnage is going to hit the UK. It's already hit the UK. It started in Ballymena. It's going to be mainland UK. We're seeing little bits of this happening now. So that's happening. That is going to lead into the winter of doom. And just contextualize, guys, this summer, I'm speculating that we are going to see, we are going to see things this summer where the police are running away from crowds. The police are retreating from crowds. The police are having to run away from people because they have been overrun. In the police doctrine, in the police standard operating procedures, guys, however the police write it, they will have something, it's usually standard operating procedures, but they will have something saying that if we start to lose certain teams on the ground, we call everyone back to the HQ. Because what happens is, when these things build momentum, and guys, listen, anybody who thinks you can stop the mob, you can't. You cannot stop the mob. When the mob is big enough and people are going crazy enough, you can't stop them. We've seen this in Ballymena. Look how the mob overran the police. Look how the mob are burning people out of their houses. This is happening. We're watching this in real time, guys, all right? You cannot stop the mob. The police don't get paid enough. So once that mob mentality spreads through the United Kingdom, which it will this summer, I speculate, I believe, you will see the police thinking, right, we need to come off the streets and we need to protect the HQ. Because remember, once one place starts to fall, just conceptualize, say that, I don't know, say that you live in, say that you live in London and different districts of London are all rioting, then in one district of London, the police run off, the police are overthrown, the police are overturned, they're having their riot shields taken off them, they're having their helmets pulled off them, people are like wild dogs. Guys, I've seen this with my own eyes and I know how quickly it can happen. So in that scenario, those people, once they've turned over those police, they've got a taste for it. They can taste it in their mouths. They're wild like wild dogs. They go to the next region then, and then that region, there's not enough police to support them. So they get turned over easier. And now you've got this bigger gang now, and the gang is growing in size, in momentum, in capacity. The crowd go to the next bunch of, and you see where I'm going, guys. Once the dominoes start to fall, they all fall. So in that scenario, the police would say, right, I don't know, code 13 or initiate code 69. They would all the police would lift off their locations and they would go and protect the HQ, because the HQ is the administrational point, it's the focal point, and the police know that under this scenario, once all those satelliting police elements have been neutralized, shall we say, the mob will turn on the HQ. And if all the chips have fallen, then the HQ is vulnerable. So that's why, guys, okay, I think this year we are going to see those sites from the United Kingdom. Moving forward, we're going to have a balkanization of the United Kingdom, guys. I am. Just imagine now, because what will happen is people will understand that the riots, the protests, the petitions, the voting, they will understand that it doesn't change anything. You still get the same politicians, sat in there on their ivory towers, signing whatever laws, making things legal, making things illegal. So people now, whichever side of this argument you're on, there will be people against you in government, and there will be people for you in government. So what will happen is people will start to target the politicians' families, the police chiefs, the military chiefs, and that's what people start to target. Now, I don't want to be distasteful here, guys. I don't want to be distasteful right now, guys, but can you imagine this, guys, right? You're a politician, right? You are an outspoken politician, and Farage, let's not say Farage. Let's just anyone, right? Just say you are an outspoken politician now, right? You're very pro this or anti whatever, and people are annoyed with you, right? Yeah? And there's a bill about to be signed off. Can you imagine if somebody comes up to you? They used to do this in Northern Ireland, guys. They come up to you guys, right? They come up to the politician and they show them, they say, here, mate, and they show them a picture of their wife and kids out shopping. And they say, you are not going to pass that bill on Wednesday. How's that politician going to act? I don't know, guys. I'm asking a question. I'm just asking a question. I could have given a different scenario. When I was in Ukraine, some of the people who worked for my company were targeted. And again, these online targets are very benign. They can be very benign. For example, one of the guys, I'm not going to mention his name, one of the guys, he was a Western guy. One of the guys started to get phone calls on his Nokia 3310, his burner phone. And there was people asking him about a fridge. So they were asking him, it was a washing machine. I think it was a washing machine. It was a washing machine, definitely a washing machine. People kept phoning him up and asking him about his washing machine. They're phoning him up saying, have you got that washing machine? But they were saying it in Russian. So he's like, well, I don't know. So he's like, mate, what is he saying? And then the interpreter is like, he was asking if you have a washing machine. He's like, no, it must be the wrong number. But it was happening like 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day. And he's like, right, next time somebody phones, ask them what they mean. Anyway, so he said, what do you mean I've got a washing machine for sale? The interpreter. He says, yeah, on your VK net, you have a washing machine for sale. Anyway, so this guy So VKNet, if you guys don't know, it's like the Russian Facebook. It's what Russians use instead of Facebook. So VKNet. So this guy went over to VKNet and he put in his name on VKNet. Remember, this guy is British now. He doesn't even know what VKNet is. So he goes onto VKNet. He puts his name in. There's a profile page made of him on VKNet with pictures of him in Ukraine, saying he's got a free washing machine. Can you imagine how scared you're going to be then? That means somebody knows your details, somebody knows where you work, and somebody's got your phone number. On the outside, it's nothing. But you understand how this works, guys, psychologically, and that can more or less all be done online. So these are just little ways that people can target people. You know, people can target politicians, decision makers, because they will find out that none of this voting works. Then what that will do is that will make people vote on those divisional lines. You will have your politicians then set on those divisional lines. And that's where I see the United Kingdom going in the next 5 or 20, 5 or 10 years, sorry guys. Right, Tyler Evans is saying, funnily enough, Nostradamus' 2026 predictions can be interpreted as World War III, with tensions in the Middle East and Europe. Monocrov over on YouTube is saying, during last summer, I literally seen people snatch shields off the police and display them like trophies to the crowds. Yeah, but I've not actually seen that, but yeah, there we go. JS Adventures, Trump's latest comments on Iran are savage. Right, let me get this. Listen, I love 2016 Trump. Trump's, let me just do a quick search here. Trump's. I can't find them. Can you put what the Trump comments are? Can you put down what the Trump comments are? Because I can't see them. So 2 hours ago, U.S. Israel's joint deception tricked Iran through nuclear talks. Trump comments. Hang on a minute. Senior official. Israel could exchange a face of missile blows with Iran in coming month. The official added the round of on Sunday was part of a coordinated deception aimed at lowering Iran's guard ahead of Friday's attack. That was a bit deceptive. I'm just trying to get these Trump comments, guys. I can't find them. Right, I can't find them, guys. I don't want to be looking at that screen too much, trying to find things. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are just joining us, if you are just joining for the first time, if you're just joining, if you're on YouTube, if you're watching later, remember, guys, we are double streaming at this point. We are double streaming. We're streaming on what we're streaming on. We're streaming on TikTok. We are streaming on YouTube. We are talking about the events in the Middle East. We're talking about the Israel strikes on Iran's nuclear capacity. I forgot how to talk. We are talking about Israel strikes on Iran's nuclear facility. We are talking about the potential likelihood of them striking back. As we already know, between 100 and 200, it's unconfirmed yet what actually. How many they've actually sent drone strikes back. So the Iranians have sent drone strikes back to Iran. Hang on, guys. Let me just... So drone strikes from Iran into Israel have happened. They're on their way there. Remember, drones take a lot more time to go back. Damage to Iran's nuclear facility was on the surface. Right, so Iran now, guys, just from 4 minutes ago. So from 4 minutes ago. Okay, right. So we're getting conflicting reports now, guys. So we're getting the hang on, hang on. Right, my YouTube channel, my TikTok, I think is gone down. I think TikTok's gone down. Has TikTok gone down? I'm still streaming on YouTube. I'm still on YouTube. I'm still on YouTube. We are going to continue, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to continue. I know I went down them for a little bit, but I guess we are back. Thank you, guys. Listen, guys, sorry, guys. The internet does swizzle in and out, guys. The internet does swizzle in and out. We're on TikTok and we are live streaming, guys, on TikTok. We're live streaming on YouTube, guys. Okay, so we are getting conflicting reports from Iran, conflicting reports from Israel. The Israelis are claiming that they've managed to, well, let me just read the comment rather than damage to Iran's Natanz nuclear facility was on the surface, says country's atomic energy agency. Israel's attack on one of Iran's primary nuclear enrichment facilities caused superficial damage, so no real damage they're claiming, according to the spokesperson for the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran. So what that means there, guys, is if they needed to get rid of it, then they still need to get rid of it. So if they're saying they've not got rid of it, that could open the door for more airstrikes. An Iranian name here, guys, I'm not going to pronounce it. I'm just going to call him Cam. All right, I'm just going to call him Cam. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name. Said the agency, the Atomic Agency, does not have an estimated damage of the damage, but most of it was on the surface. Ladies and gentlemen, what do I keep telling you? Cam said that most of the enrichment capabilities are underground. Guys, listen, what do I keep telling you? You can't do this from the air. You need boots on the ground, and all this fits in like a jigsaw puzzle. It all fits in like a jigsaw puzzle. A jigsaw puzzle. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, remember the drones off New Jersey? Remember the UFOs off New Jersey? What did I say they were? Literally, after watching one video for a minute, I said, no. This is the US military testing their access and egress capability from the sea. I said they're using the Northrop Grumman Manta Ray drone, and they're launching drones from the Manta Ray, making sure they can operate them via Starlink and land back on those drones and then go under the water and continue their mission. So this is how the South Coast, I'll tell you in a minute, once I finish this, guys, I'll tell you how Iran will be invaded. Not only will I do that, I'll tell you when it's going to get invaded as well. And ladies and gentlemen, if that is not worth a like, a comment, a subscribe, click all those buttons to help the channel grow. I don't know what is. So if you're watching, guys, please like, comment, subscribe. Remember, we're following. We're streaming on 2 platforms now, guys. We are on YouTube. We are on TikTok as well, guys. We're streaming on YouTube and TikTok. So there we have it, guys. Breaking news from 8 minutes ago. The Iranians are saying that all their nuclear program is underground. Again, I've been saying this for the longest time. This is why I've been saying boots on the ground, March 2026. It's very easy to see what's coming, guys. It's very easy to understand what's coming. Supreme Leader names replacements. Trump warns Iran to agree to a nuclear deal before even more. All right, okay, I think this is what the comments were. So Trump warns Iran to agree to nuclear deal before even more brutal attacks. Right, so I'm going to I've got Donald Trump's speech here, guys. I'm going to read you now Donald Trump's speech. So this is his speech from Truth Social. I've not read it. I'm literally just seeing it for the first time. I'm going to read it out with you guys. I'm just going to read it out. I'll read it. I always say I'm going to read things in full, but I always stop. So I'm just going to read it. I may stop, I may not. I continue. Shall I read it in Trump's voice? I don't think I can. I gave Iran chance after chance to make a deal. I told them in the strongest of words to just do it. But no matter how hard they tried, no matter how close they got, They just couldn't get it done. He's talking about a deal there. I told them it would be much worse than anything they know, anticipate, or were told, that the United States makes the best and most lethal military equipment anywhere in the world by far, and that Israel has a lot of it, with much more to come. Wow. Wow. Yeah, thank you so much for putting me onto this, guys. With much more to come, and they know how to use it. I think that's coming from Ukraine. Certain Iranian hardliners spoke bravely, but they didn't know what was about to happen. They're all transcended into beams of light now, and it will only get worse. There has already been great unaliving and destruction, but there is still time to make this stop within the next already planned attacks being more brutal. So there's already more attacks planned, and they're going to be more brutal. Iran must make a deal before there is nothing left, and save what was once known as the Iranian Empire. No more people transcending to being alive, no more destruction. And then he's put in capital letters, so you know he means business, just do it before it's too late. And now he's got in lowercase, God bless you all. Wow, guys, that is absolutely savage. I'm just going to unpick a few things here, guys. So first of all, guys, he's saying, I gave Iran chance after chance to make a deal. I told them in the strongest words, get it done, but no matter how close they got, they just couldn't get it done. I told them it would be worse than anything they know, anything they could anticipate, or worse than anything they were ever told. And he's saying here about the hardliners saying no and like acting tough. And this is what my experience is as well. People in certain countries, in certain parts of the world, they act very tough. When it comes to the crunch, you know, these people crumble. Now, the problem here, I think, is you're going to have to... let me continue. Where is it? They talk about the military equipment. Here we are, guys. Yeah. So I told them that the United States makes the best and most lethal military equipment anywhere in the world, by far, and that Israel has a lot of it, and with much more to come. So can you guys remember how there was this spat between Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu? And I was like, no, guys, like it's fake. It's a fugazi. It's all smoke and mirrors. Their relationship is solid. All the stuff that we're seeing is smoke and mirrors. You know, I did videos on it. I can actually remember being sat down. Remember when I was upstairs in the bedroom in the marble suite, and you know, like people were coming on saying, "Oh, Sean, Donald Trump's going to have a peace deal. He's going to have this peace deal." I was like, "Wait, just wait. No peace in Ukraine, and tell me now, does it look like there's peace in the Middle East, or does it look like we're on the verge of a global conflict of an industrial scale?" I don't know, guys. Put it in the chat. So there he's saying, guys, you know, that the United States is going to give them a lot of equipment, and there's a lot to use it. Now, this bit here he talks about, which is key, I think. So he's talking about that Israel has a lot of military hardware and much more to come, and then he adds, and they know how to use it. So what I think he's talking about there is the amount of chain equipment that's been given to the Ukrainians, and the Ukrainian military, for the best will in the world, they can't use it properly because they don't understand how, because they don't, their whole tactics, their military doctrine, their strategy, it's not geared around Western weapons. And again, that's just like, you know, something he's put in there. So I do think Trump is about to pull. I think Trump is about to pull out of, he's about to pull out of Ukraine. I really do think that's happening, guys. Kaz is saying it certainly looks like Trump has stopped clowning around. But yeah, guys, that is absolute. Oh, there's another update. Hang on, guys, another update. Right, this is from Netanyahu has angled for a bigger fight with Iran for decades now. He has got one. Throughout his serving leader, right? Okay, yeah, okay. I'm not gonna bother with that. Let me jump on to the bigger news, guys, guys and girls, because I do want to know where these drone strikes are. Right, okay, so I've got another update here, guys, from 11 minutes ago. Another update from 11 minutes ago. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're on, can you do me a favor? Hit that follow button, the like, the subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. I don't know what the buttons are. Literally all the buttons that help this channel grow, guys. I really appreciate each and every one of your likes, your comments, the follows, you subscribers. You help the you help the channel grow. Kaz is saying, happy Friday the 13th. Happy Friday the 13th. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are just new to this channel, go and watch my video when I said it's going to kick off today. I did a video, and the heading for the video on TikTok is Friday the 13th warning. I said it was coming, guys. I said it was coming. Israel, Iran latest. Trump sends Tehran warning after nuclear sites targeted. Right, okay, we just talked about that. Right, so here we've got it, guys. We've got the Iranians saying there's no damage done to this facility, and then the Israelis saying they have done caused significant. Right, my YouTube is going swizzling again. Right, we're trying to, right, so if you're watching on, right, I think my TikTok's finally packed in. Has it packed in? Has it packed in? No, we are still on TikTok. We are still on TikTok. We are still on TikTok. TikTok is going strong. It's like, it's like the bad guys are trying to get us, but the algorithm keeps pushing us out there. So we are still on, ladies and gentlemen. We are still, we're off. We are off. Right, let me jump down. Right, I don't know. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, it does look like the internet connection is starting to go. I wanted to I ran a cable basically from the internet, but I can't clip it into my computer because I've only got USB-C. So I need an Ethernet cable that goes to the, I need an Ethernet to, Ethernet to USB-C. They didn't have one in Curry's PC world. It just is what it is, guys. It is what it is. We can only deal with one problem at a time. But ladies and gentlemen, it does look like it's go time now. It looks like it's go time in the Middle East. It looks like it's go time in Europe. The summer of carnage is here, and it's all bonkers. Kaz is saying, order one from Amazon. I will order one from Amazon, Kaz, but if I order one from Amazon, it won't be here today, unfortunately. It will be Monday, Tuesday at the earliest. And by then, don't worry, by golly, I'll have one by then. Right, they do sell them in Curry's PC world, but they didn't have one in the one closest to me, so I may have to drive to, like, I don't know, somewhere. Right, Israeli military is calling hold a press conference, updating its strikes on Iran. It says significant damage. Israel says the top commander has been transcended into a beam of light. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's all happening, guys. I don't think there's any real updates in the last, just people speculating. Right, oil, guys. Listen, if you live in the United Kingdom, if you live in Europe, if you live in the Western world, this is the big one for you guys, okay? Because this is going to affect you, okay? Money, oil, gold, prices surging, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely surging at the moment. Oil prices surge after Israel, Iran. Here's what it could mean for drivers. Now, I'm just going to read you this article, guys, but when we talk about drivers, we also talk about delivery drivers, all right? If delivery drivers costs go up, guess what? Delivered goods costs go up. So that means everything's going to go up. Welcome to the Monday blog, Sky News Computer, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to bother with that. Right, here we are, guys. Right. What?
Right, that's not it. Where are we talking about here? What's going on here? I want the oil stuff. Where's the oil stuff? Right, do you know what? There's a load of, right, do you know what? I'm just gonna, oh, here we are. Right, sorry, I'm on it. Right. Oil prices have risen after Israel struck Iran in the early hours of this morning. A hit to an oil-producing state in an oil-producing region spooked the oil markets and sparked fears of a potential broader conflict. A barrel of Brent crude oil, the benchmark, has risen almost 8%, a high not seen since Trump's so-called Liberation Day tariffs. The sharp rise this is a sharp rise, but it could get worse in the cut. It's coming up from a year-long low over fears of a US recession. There have also been reports of attacks on oil supplies. Right, I didn't realize that. The current oil price is still below $80 a barrel, which is really cheap. Iran produces 3 million barrels of oil a day. That is a lot, guys. Remember, most of this oil is processed off the south coast of Iran in a place called Karg Island, or I'm just going to call it Karg Island because that's what I first knew it as. The country is the third largest producer in the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries. However, while some market reflections feel nebulous, oil price rises can directly affect people within days. If the cost remains elevated, motorists will likely feel the rise at the pump in about 10 days. So what they're saying there, guys, is you could see the price at the pump go up in about 10 days. So that means you have 10 days now. Again, you know, if people see this coming, they're going to raise those prices beforehand. I've said this so many times. If this happens, diesel, there's going to be a likelihood of diesel being just taken off the market, because as things escalate, diesel will be for the military. All right, Debbie Doobs is saying panic buying. Yeah, this is what happens. People panic buy, and that exacerbates the problem. I can remember when I was in Ukraine in 2022. You were only allowed to get 10 litres of petrol or diesel from the pump. So that had a knock-on effect then, because people were panic buying. We literally just had two guys, and that was their job all day, just queue up and keep going around the queue until that petrol station was dry, then find another petrol station. That's all they did all day. Right, let me jump onto the YouTube comments, guys. Oh, and Debbie Doobs has jumped over to YouTube. Debbie Doobs has jumped over to YouTube because the signal was going on TikTok. Right, guys, listen, there is a lot of you guys on, but I'm going to have to close this down now, guys, all right? I'm going to close this down. I don't see any significant developments until tonight, guys. I don't see any significant developments happening until tonight. So let me just have a quick look. Yeah, I don't see any more developments until tonight, guys. Remember, the Iranians now have to make a plan. They have to look at what they can do, what they will do. They're going to be talking to the Russians. They're going to be talking to their regional allies. They're going to be talking to the Houthis. They're going to be talking to the North Koreans. Everybody's going to be having little encrypted chats that are probably being listened to by the Americans. So all that is happening now behind the scenes, guys. I don't see anything of significance happening until tonight. Why tonight? It gets dark. Things are easier to do at dark. People will have gone home. It's Friday in the Muslim world. It's Friday and people enjoy a day off on the Friday. So all that's happening. Guys, listen, I am going to be back on tonight at 8. If there's anything breaking that you guys need to know about, I will be putting videos on there. But I'm going to be live tonight at 8, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to close YouTube down first. No, I'm not going to close YouTube down first. I'm going to close TikTok down now first, guys. I'm going to close TikTok down first. I'll be over on YouTube for a couple of minutes. Guys, listen, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my stuff. Go follow us on our other platforms, guys. We are on TikTok, we're not on Facebook. We're on TikTok, YouTube, and X. We try and double stream every night, guys. So I'm going to be over on YouTube for a while, guys. Listen. Just remember, it's go time. Let me close this down now, and I think TikTok is closed. Is TikTok closed? I don't even know if it's closed. No, it's still open. TikTok is closed. TikTok is closed. Yes, TikTok has closed. It's closedy mashmosedy over on TikTok. Right, TikTok's closed. Right, I'm just going to caffeinate myself. In fact, let me click this. Let me click this. Let me click this. Let me click this. Right, I just need to click some buttons on TikTok, guys. Right, let me caffeinate myself while I'm here. I can caffeinate myself on YouTube. I'm allowed to caffeinate myself, which is always positive. What just happened there? Which is always a positive thing. In fact, do you know what? In fact, I did have some videos to listen to. Do you know what? I had some. Do you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it now, guys. I've got some videos to listen to. So I was on X the other night and I was listening to some videos. So this is Ron DeSantis now from America. So Ron DeSantis, like, I genuinely, after listening to this, guys, I want to move to Florida. Right, let me put the volume up. Right, just listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. So this is Ron DeSantis now talking about, I'll just let you listen.
And we also have a policy that if you're driving on one of those streets and a mob comes and surrounds your vehicle and threatens you, you have a right to flee for your safety.
So what he's talking about here is the riots and the protests that broke out in Los Angeles. Ron DeSantis in America, he's having none of that. What he's saying is, if your vehicle gets surrounded by a mob, you have the right to flee for your safety. And listen to what he says.
And so if you drive off and you hit one of these people, that's their fault for impinging on you. You don't have to sit there and just be a sitting duck and let the mob grab you out of your car and drag you through the streets. You have a right to defend yourself in Florida.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, if you live in Florida, you've got a right to defend yourself. Like, I couldn't believe it when he was saying that. Like, I was like, wow, if only people in the United Kingdom had a right to defend themselves, because we do not, ladies and gentlemen, we do not have any right to defend ourselves. Literally, we have a right to phone the police, and that's about it. Where else have I got? I've got another one here as well, from the head of the police in Florida. Not that, I think this is it here. Is it this one? I may have. No, I think I've. Yeah. So basically, there was a head of the police in Florida, and he's coming out and he's saying, like, you know, he's doing this speech and he's saying, if you guys, if any of you guys throw a rock or attack one of my officers, I'm going to phone your family and tell you where to collect the body, because we're going to, like, make sure you're like a body. You know, and I was just like, wow, that is the type of policing I want to see. That's the type of policing I want to see in the United Kingdom, but I want to see that fair. Like, I want to see that type of policing for everyone, you know, not just people who are, you know, deemed need that policing. I want to see strong policing for everyone, guys. And like right now, we just don't see strong policing in the United Kingdom. We see like woke policing. But by all means, you know, Florida are not taking any of that swizzling, guys. It doesn't look like people in Florida are not accepting any of that nonsense. Right. Yeah, so tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have you back on both screens, right? Okay. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be double streaming again. We're going to try and double stream tonight at 8 o'clock. It's all going bonkers. The things that I took just then from Trump's speech, where is it? Have I still got it up? I don't know if I've still got it up. Is it that one? Is it that one? Maybe. Oh, latest, Iran. This is a declaration of war. So Iran are saying that this is a declaration of war. So Iran is saying it's a war declaration. Now that's from the mainstream. Now, oh, hang on. Israeli airlines planes out of control. Hang on a minute. So this is literally from now, guys. I may have to go back on the, hang on, guys. Israeli airlines fly planes out of control to undisclosed location. I don't know what that means. Israeli airlines have moved their aircraft out of the country. All right, okay, out of the country to an undisclosed location. Right, okay, I understand. Right, okay, I understand. No, so what they're saying there is, sorry guys, that is a very badly written headline. So the Israeli airlines now are moving their aircraft out of Israel because they're kind of expensive aircraft and they don't want them to get struck. Okay, so breaking news from now, ladies and gentlemen, literally just now, Shahed drones seen over Iraq. So I can confirm now, guys, there's images on open source media that the Israeli drones are seen over Iraq. Now, it does look like these are flying low, the Shahed drones. They've still got the propellers. Now, guys, listen, I'm just going to give you a quick update on lessons learned from Ukraine with regards to drones. So these drones, these Shahed, you know, I should have a picture of one. So I should have some props. You know, when I used to teach, I used to have like little props and stuff. So from the lessons learned in Ukraine, these Shahed drones are very effective. They're cheap. They're easy to produce. They can be built and launched from practically anywhere. Now, what they've learned is mass. You need mass. You need lots of them to be fired. As I understand it, they've put a different engine in these drones now. I can't see that being the different engine, so maybe it's just the Russians are putting different engines in them. But the tactics changed in Ukraine. So the way they used to do it, they used to low level. Now, when you're low level flying, you are susceptible to small arms from small arms ground fire. But you get better fuel efficiency when you're lower down because there's more oxygen in the air, and you get better fuel efficiency when you're lower down. But what they've done now is they've gone higher up. Now you need a new engine to go higher up, so they've gone higher up. So the Shahed drones are now coming into Ukraine very high. Now, they haven't started doing this yet, but what I think the next phase will be in Ukraine is they will fly into Ukraine really high. If they fly high, obviously now with the new engine, they're out of range from the small arms. So what that means is they can, if you want to take out a Shahed drone, which is what I don't know how much these Shahed drones cost, but I would say looking at them, I don't know how much the new engine costs, but I would say looking at them, you're looking at like 50, call it 50, 60 grand. I don't know, I might be wrong. 50, 60 grand, certainly nowhere near 100. So these Shahed drones, as they're coming in now, you have to send up a very expensive rocket to intercept those drones. So that's what's happening in Ukraine. What I'm seeing now with this short image is the Iranian drones are being spotted over Iraq on their way to targets in Israel. This is going to take time, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to take time for us to get there. Now, the two ideas that they could have is, one, they could fire, they could just send small waves of 100 drones. Now, I know 100 sounds a lot, but it's not. They could send waves of 100 over. Remember, they've got the production facility to do that now. And they could just continue, they could just start this as a constant barrage now. Maybe they're going to send them once every 5 hours, once every 6 hours. That will keep the Israeli air defense in use. And over time, ladies and gentlemen, that will deplete the Israeli air defense. Once the Israeli air defense is depleted, guess what? Then you bring out the big boys. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, listen, I'm going to close this down now. I will be live again tonight at 8. Keep an eye on the news, guys. Keep an eye on your on your petrol prices, because I do think they're about to spike. Anyway, guys, don't forget to be here tonight at 8.